as you mentioned, she's on a roll right now after that win. You know, we woke up this morning, Ronnie, and we saw that south wind, and then it backed off, so the conditions look beautiful out there.
And I think both of them, if they're going to, I think, announce themselves as a major threat here in the Swatch Women's Pro, they're going to have to start breaking into the excellent range with some of these rides. So we'll see what Tatiana can do here. The first wave of the day, the fourth round, heat 1. And Tatiana, just that'll be a throwaway. Sage Erickson left out the back now with priority.
You can really maintain control.
Well, here we go. There is Sage Erickson using her priority. She's got a great backhand. She digs in to a decent first turn. And he's going to work this one over right through to the inside and try and get a quick start on the current world number 4. That wave just faded away on her, unfortunately. Continuing to climb up the ranks, Sage Erickson. This is her best shot, 2016, of getting herself inside the top 10 and not counting on a QS finish to maintain a place on tour.
And, you know, she's going to be dangerous confidence-wise. We talked about Tatiana Weston-Webb, how she's got that momentum coming from the US Open.
Tatiana is out there with priority at the moment. She's got her eyes on this left. And there's some of that aggression, really rounding out a turn nicely. Just love the effort that Tatiana puts into her moves. Always gets that head down and digs into the last stages of those turns. And it is another Sage Erickson now. Still with her eyes on the left. The right looked pretty nice too. So maybe Sage just a little fixated on that direction.
These surfers know that they want to start off with a bang. That always gets the judges' attention. So this is her version right here for Tatiana. Just a wrap though, and then another wrap. So you can see because that wave went out to the edge, you know, it had a bit of shoulder on it. That was a nice clean wrap there, but she unfortunately caught a bit of a rail. You know, so I think that, you know, the best thing you can do, you know, just a kind of a peaceful warrior, but just like Sage, Rosie also hungry to catch a lot of waves and surf, you know, surf as well as she can. So to drift down there.
So she takes a chance on this smaller wave. There's a bit of a look at a more rippable wall as Tatiana gets in a nice first turn and just looks to finish. She'll know she's not on her way to an excellent number there, but she'll just want to get the ball rolling, get something on the board. Out the back at the moment, Sage Erickson. She has switched things up. She's heading right now. But this wave stretching out a long way. She kicked out. It's amazing seeing the competitors, Ross, how much ground they can cover here at Trestles. The guys like Felipe Toledo, they hop around those sections with ease, and Sage, maybe with a float, could have got down the line then.
Yeah, I agree. But, you know, it gets back to her style of surfing. You know, she's a little bit more cruisy, slower tempo, and so she decided to kick out. As we see Tatiana right there, was at 3 or 4 okay snaps there, but lacking a little bit of pop and speed.
Little patch of this Californian coastline at one of the more consistent breaks here in mainland America, Ross.
Just because it's so consistent.
Here we go, Tatiana having a look at this one. Bit of foam on the face to deal with, but she sticks with it, drives around that section, rips into that first turn, and floats to get down the line. She won't find the open face again, but she's just looking to build a bit of a lead here and
to maybe, you know, apply some pressure to Sage and hopefully get her to make mistakes. The only thing that's, you know, not really unfolding for Tatiana is the waves really lacking thunder. You know, she wants that one big old crack of a whip, you know, a serious maneuver. Far the way either of these competitors wanted to, but nice looking wave here for Sage.
She's got to get going, and she does, generating enough speed and committing to this wave. And she'll now go to that flowing forehand carve. Bashes the pocket. This is looking like the best wave of this heat so far, and Sage, like she's been doing through the earlier rounds, gets the finish. It's not something she's been famous for through her career.
So right here, I'll show you what I mean. She's going to come around and go for a clean wrap. Takes a second to get around, but that wave was fast. There's the wrap. You mentioned, you know, where she's from, Santa Barbara. A lot of right-hand point breaks just like this wave right there. And there was that last maneuver. You saw that, how she hit the lip, Ronnie, and then she ripped the nose of her surfboard down. So it really gave that, again, it gave that maneuver some visibility, some definition. So for a relatively easy off the lip, you know, she put a stamp on it. But
I definitely think, like we were talking about earlier, we're going to see these competitors start adapt to the conditions. Sage, she didn't take the time to race around a couple of waves earlier on.
Boil down to, can you get a wave that really delivers those exciting sections too? That's always the case. But today, right now, with these smooth conditions, you really have to have a great wave selection. Get those waves that have that big old section with, like Strider said, that lip on it. Then you can break through it and impress the judges. So, you know, so far Sage has got the only kind of real keeper of a score with the 6-pointer. We saw what Tatiana's been doing. She's been, you know, kind of drifting down. I think she learned her lesson at the beginning of the heat, being stuck over in the lefts. But unfortunately, her waves have been pretty short. This is the 6 right here, Ronnie. Nice little off the lip to finish it, but that carve was really the best maneuver in that wave, which allowed that score to go up to that 6-point range.
Sage Erickson, a real opportunity of causing a big upset in the first heat of the day if she can finish this wave off nicely. Looking to get rid of a 3.5. She doesn't commit to that inside. That wave did lack just a bit of steepness in the wall. So Sage kicks out. Sage, she wants to have a look at it. And Tatiana gives her this wave, so let's see what she can do with it. Big first turn, a nice hack there from Sage, driving off the bottom once again. Just a little straight in her stance on that second maneuver, but still chipping away, and this wave might just have another little section on the inside. Sage not committing all the way through. 2 minutes to go now. With just under 2 minutes to go, it might have been an idea just to stick with it. Who knows, just add an increment here and there. Here's Tatiana's reply. She's going to need a decent score here to get herself into the lead. This wave is stretching out, a lot of time chasing it. There's a nice, well-rounded turn and combos it up pretty nicely on the inside for the finish, but a little shake of the head there. I don't think she was overly impressed with that wave.
For Tatiana, we're going to see her wave first. I was really surprised, Ronnie, that she gave that wave to Sage. She could have kind of used her priority as a block and maybe tried to pick up a score, but I think she was actually looking at the wave itself and said, you know, this has got too much face on it. So she let it go, but it might have been a mistake because I'm sure Sage bettered her score. So right here, she could have flipped it right there and blocked Sage. Maybe even given her an interference because it looked like Sage was going to be, you know, right in her zone. Sage for sure got rid of that 3.5. A little bobble. She had her weight forward on that second turn, and as a result, she kind of almost went over the handlebars, but she did well to clean that wave up at the end and finish it off. Should be an okay score.
Move number 1 and move 3 were decent. Sage to have a more vertical approach, but she's going to get another opportunity at the back here. This wave is tapering off pretty quickly, though. She might just ride this one right through. Just 15 seconds to go as Erickson banks off the foam. Get out there to the takeoff zone, Sage. You just never know what could happen if you want to get that priority back. But this should work out pretty nicely for Erickson. She already had that strong 6-point ride, so she was quite a ways ahead of Tatiana on collecting scores anyway, and she is going to get rid of the 3.5. This heat has come to a close, and it's Sage Erickson causing an upset in the first heat of the day. More to come from the Swatch Women's Pro in just a little bit.